This portion of the news brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
It's being called a step in the right direction for cooperative credit unions and by extension, the financial services sector. June 1st, 2015 now becomes an important date in the financial services industry as it marks the transition of the supervision and regulation of cooperatives under the Central Bank of the Bahamas.
Clint Watson attended today's Central Bank press conference and explains tonight what this means for thousands of members and a rapidly changing financial sector.
Regulators say the transition of cooperatives under the remit of the central bank speaks to the rapid growth and development of the movement in the country and their growing popularity among Bahamians. Central Bank Governor Wendy Craig says it's a move that's 3 years in the making.
Worked very diligently to ensure that the new regulatory framework that we have in place today would offer the appropriate flexibility and robustness to underpin the future growth of the sector. And at the same time, we wanted to ensure that it fostered public confidence in these very important financial activities.
The governor admits credit unions with more than 40,000 members and assets around $350 million and a growth rate of 7% play an important role in the economy. Governor Craig says 3 factors motivated the migration, including seeking a more consolidated sector.
The transition aligns with the broadly held view by various international agencies, including the governing body for credit unions, the World Council of Credit Unions, that the sector should be regulated and supervised by the entity that is responsible for financial stability. And for us, that is the central bank.
President of the Bahamas Cooperative League, Sonia Hamilton, says as they celebrate 40 years, this is welcome and good news for cooperatives. Boasting in being all Bahamian institutions, she says they will continue to do what they've been doing all along for their members.
The regular customer coming in for a loan or for advice, it won't change. It will be the same. The same measures are there. They've always been there.
To further demonstrate the strength and size of cooperatives, the governor says as a whole, their portfolio is 3/4 the size of their second smallest domestic banking institution. Hamilton says having inspections and audits is nothing new.
However, some credit unions had inspections up to twice a year. So we were really regulated very stringently.
We will be issuing some guidelines to the cooperatives, to the credit unions, with respect to their operations, but we won't necessarily, we don't control the rates. They determine the rates at which they will lend and at which they will, the rates that they will pay on their deposits.
Now already the central bank says they've been working with credit unions. They've already been receiving since last year unaudited reports and financial statements. Clint Watson, ZNS Network News.
The Ministry of Social Services and Community Development launched its conditional cash program in order to combine all of its services. It is also known as Reviving, Inspiring, Sustaining, and Empowering, or RISE. The rollout was made possible through a $7.5 million Inter-American Development Bank 5-year loan issued in 2012. This new initiative comes as a part of the Social Security Net Reform Project for the Bahamas. It specifically focuses on promoting human capital development and alleviating poverty. Social Services Minister Melanie Griffin explained the program's role.
We have piecemeal assistance being doled out. We have food assistance, we have uniform assistance, we have light and utilities. So what the CCT does is it consolidates several of those programs into a cash grant to the family on a monthly basis, which is designed to take care of the family for the course of the month.
Minister Griffin confirmed the pilot program for RISE will be rolled out later in the month and will become the Social Services Department's signature assistance program.
Ensure that we have certain triggers in this program that ensures that parents who have kids in school who are part of this program have to attend Parent-Teachers Association meetings, have to make sure their kids attend school, and have to pick up their report cards. Again, ways in which to get the parents engaged.
Where the children fail in school, then they have to then attend after-school programs, and that's where education comes in.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
This is your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm Jimenita Swain. The Ministry of Finance's Value-Added Tax, or VAT Department, has announced the creation of the Bahamas VAT Calculator application for consumers with smartphones. The app is free and can be found in the Google Play Store for Android users and in the App Store for Apple users. The app allows consumers to calculate the proper VAT for purchases using the VAT calculator, add or remove VAT from a price using the VAT rate, and call the VAT hotline. In other business news, for a second year, RBC was named Global Retail Bank of the Year. RBC is the only Canadian bank to capture the Retail Banker International's top honor and the only North American bank to earn the distinction 2 years in a row, an unprecedented achievement in a competition that attracted close to 400 nominations from the world's most successful banks. RBC's managing director for the Bahamas, Cayman, and Turks and Caicos Islands, Nathaniel Benaby Jr., said the bank is proud of the award as it reflects the dedication and passion of employees and their commitment to its clients. And in international business news, the Campbell Soup Company announced today it's agreed to buy salsa maker Garden Fresh Gourmet for $231 million. This latest move is a part of its ongoing strategy to diversify beyond soup. Campbell said in a statement that Garden Fresh Gourmet, which also makes hummus, dips, and tortilla chips, generated $100 million in net sales last year. Campbell CEO Denise Morrison said in a statement that the acquisition of Garden Fresh Gourmet is another milestone in reshaping their portfolio towards faster-growing categories, including packaged fresh and organic foods. That was your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm Jimenita Swain.
A double murder trial and the sentencing of a convicted rapist heard in the Supreme Courts today. Jared Higgs has this wrap-up in tonight's court news.
The double murder trial of former death row inmate Basil Gordon has been adjourned until 11:30 Wednesday morning. Gordon was expected to give evidence at the start of the day's proceedings. However, he informed Senior Justice Stephen Isaacs of his intention to submit that he has no case to answer. The murder trial of Tristan DeVoe and Judson Mackey is underway before Justice Carolita Bethel. The pair are accused of the May 2013 killing of Shanrio DeVoe, as well as possessing an unlicensed firearm and ammunition. Lead prosecutor Anthony Delaney began laying out his case, calling Georgina Roll, a friend of the deceased, to the stand. Roll testified that she was with DeVoe when he was attacked and ran towards a nearby shortcut. Under cross-examination from defense attorneys Dorsey McPhee and Ramona Farquharson Seymour, Roll admitted that she could not see who attacked DeVoe because it was dark when she ran away from the area. And in other court news, convicted rapist Rufus Emanuel will have to wait a bit longer to learn his fate. During Tuesday's sentencing hearing, Rufus's attorney Damian White pled for leniency for his client, whom he says spent 8 years in jail awaiting trial, and was an avid churchgoer and musician. Justice Indra Charles also noted his request to participate in a work program where he would be allowed to leave the correctional facility in the morning and return in the evening. Justice Charles delayed her decision on Emmanuel's sentencing until June 18th, when Crown Prosecutor Gordon Solis will respond to the defense's oral submissions. Jared Higgs, ZNS Network News.
The Public Treasury Department is urging government vendors to verify their status by July 31st to avoid a delay or discontinuation of payments. The annual verification exercise is being conducted as the department shifts towards making direct deposits and moves away from issuing checks. Vendors are companies, organizations, or individuals who provide services or goods to a government ministry or department or organizations or people that receive grants or assistance assistance from government. Deputy Treasurer Donna Delancey says the department is undergoing a public financial system reform, which is to the benefit of vendors.
Currently, checks are issued, and the process requires us printing the checks, sorting the checks prior to distributing the checks via the bank, the post office, or persons coming to the Treasury to collect the checks over the counter. And this process is a 24 to 48-hour turnaround, but with the direct deposits, we expect to reduce this turnaround to be under 24, 48 hours.
Vendors are requested to produce their tax information number and banking information, which ensures that vendor information is accurate and helps determine which ones are inactive. There are currently 10,000 vendors, and Financial Controller Barbara Zonical explains how they are initially registered.
The process normally starts with a government agency. For example, that agency might have to buy office supplies, so then through the quotation or tendering process, we will select a particular vendor. Now this particular vendor will now be required to bring in some information, namely your business license, that should be current. You can also be asked to bring in a letter of good standing from National Insurance Board, your TIN number, and also your VAT registration number.
Government has some good news for Long Islanders. Minister of Agriculture and Marine Resources, the Honorable V. Alfred Gray, revealed upgrades to water supply on that island as he opens last week's regatta.
And the government intends to put water in Salt Pond in the next several months. And I know you've been suffering for many, many years. Governments have come and gone, but I have a commitment from the Prime Minister they will put water in Salt Pond, Long Island in the not too distant tomorrow.
Minister Gray also informed Long Islanders about new banking facilities to begin there soon.
The government has promised to begin negotiations. I know you heard that Scotia Bank and one or two other banks have closed branches somewhere in these islands, and Long Island is no exception. And to fill the void, we will seek to speak to the Bank of the Bahamas to fill the voids where Scotia Bank would have left off. Because it's important that the people in the north do not have to travel all the way some 50 miles to find a bank. I think we need to at least make the best effort possible to make sure that the people in the north continue to have banking services.